leaven, which represents sin. Heb 7. 26 At Pentecost, as the great high priest, he could present to his Father Jehovah additional sons, Jesus' footstep followers, who were taken from sinful mankind and who accepted his sacrifice. The approval by God of Jesus' own human sacrifice and of Jesus' presentation of his disciples, although born in sin to be spirit-begotten sons of God, was manifested by the pouring out of God's Spirit upon them. The fact that there were 2 loaves of newly ripened grain that were presented to Jehovah at Pentecost indicates that more than one person would be involved in the fulfillment. It may also point to the fact that those who become spirit-begotten followers of Jesus Christ would be taken from 2 groups on earth. First from the natural circumcised Jews, and later from all the other nations of the world, the Gentiles. Compare F2. 13-18. The Jews traditionally hold that Pentecost corresponded to the time of the giving of the law at Sinai, when Israel became a distinguished people. It was early in the 3rd month Sivan that the Israelites gathered at Sinai and received the law. Acts 19. 1 Just as Moses as mediator was used to introduce Israel into the law covenant, so Jesus Christ as mediator of spiritual Israel now brought that new nation into the new covenant. The Apostle Paul draws a comparison from these 2 events, saying that Christians are gathered to a far greater assemblage at Mount Zion and a city of the living God, heavenly Jerusalem, under new covenant arrangements. Job 12. 18-24. Compare 14. 1-5. Jesus had announced the new covenant to his disciples on the evening of his last Passover and, just before his ascension, had instructed them to wait at Jerusalem for the promised Holy Spirit. Now, as the Apostle Peter explained, because he was exalted to the right hand of God and received the promised Holy Spirit from the Father, he has poured out that which you see and hear. Luke 22. 20. Act 2. 33 The presence of God's Spirit was manifested in that some 120 disciples were miraculously speaking in different tongues. By this means, the multitudes of Jews and proselytes from all parts of the Roman Empire could hear with intelligibility the magnificent things of God. Act 2. 7-11 First at this time, by means of Peter, baptism in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit was preached, as Jesus had commanded at Matthew 28. 19. Act 2. 21, 36, 38, 39 Having gone into the heavens with the value of his sacrifice, Jesus was able to bring his followers into the new covenant. Job 9. 15-26. These followers, then, with the 3,000 added that day Act 2. 41 and others later, were not the very first fruits to God, for this was Jesus Christ himself, resurrected on Nisan 16 of 33 CE 1 Co 15. 23, when the barley sheaves were waved. Rather, they were like the first fruits of the wheat, a second crop, certain first fruits to God. Ches 1. 18 They now became God's new nation, God's chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for o textoi acute miritra longo, people of the land earth 600 people of the land earth. This expression heb amhamidal dodoretz, with its plural forms occurs 75 times in the Hebrew text. In Jesus' day it was employed by the religious leaders as a term of contempt, but originally that was not the case. The Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon by Kuhler and Baumgartner explains this Hebrew expression to mean the citizens possessing the full rights. Lexicon in Veteris Testamenti Libros, Leiden, 1958, p. 711 The Interpreter's Dictionary of the Bible states that the term in the strict sense includes only the responsible male Sishazenri, the married men who live on their own land and have full rights and duties, including the duty of serving in the army and of participating in judicial proceedings and festivals. Edited by G. A. Buttrick, 1962, Volume 1, p. 106 Compare the 20. 2-5. 2 Chi 15. 5. 16. 15. S 45. 16, 22. 46. 3, 9. Thus, originally, the expression was one of respect. It did not apply only to a lowly class or those of the poorer element. In bargaining for the property rights to the cave of Machpelah, Abraham dealt with the Hittite people of the land. GE 23. 7:13. RS in these verses both an American translation and the New World Translation render the Hebrew Amhar middle dot Eretz as natives. Pharaoh, in speaking to Moses and Aaron, referred to the Israelites dwelling in Goshen as the people of the land. X 5. 5. The expression was used in the singular to embrace all the people of Canaan. New 14. 9. And with the plural of middle dot me, peoples to describe them as forming separate tribes or peoples within that land. NE 9. 24, 30. It is used in a similar way to refer to the subject peoples within the Persian Empire in Queen Esther's time. As 8. 17. Sennacherib used the full plural form middle dot mahar middle dot ara middle dot soth, peoples of the lands, as applying to the many peoples or nations conquered by the Assyrian forces. 2 ch 32. 13. Within the nation of Israel, the phrase Amhar Eretz often distinguished the general citizenry from governmental or priestly officials. 2 K 11. 14.